A trio of crises threatening to upend the race about a month before Election Day. Ports are shut down over a dock worker strike that could cost the economy billions of dollars a day, threaten jobs and jack up inflation, a chaotic hurricane recovery that has survivors desperately pleading for basic necessities. And the Middle East on the brink of war as Israel molds a response to Iran's barrage of missiles. It all begs one key question. How can Kamala be trusted to handle it all when she's still fumbling her way through interviews like this?
Former President Trump says that you've had 4 years as vice president to do all the things you've promised in the campaign, but haven't done it. Is he right?
The former president is really becoming quite desperate, and is really been offering a lot of misstatements and misinformation. And perhaps it's because he wants to distract from the fact that he has offered no plan for the American people. My plan is about building an opportunity economy. What we've got on the other side is someone who wants to distract from the fact that his plan is about giving billionaires and big corporations a tax break like he did the last time.
And here's Donald Trump showing up in Michigan to hammer her record.
As bad as Kamala's failures have been, we have a plan to fix it, and we're going to fix it very fast. If Lion Kamala gets 4 more years instead of a golden age, America will instead be plunged into a dark age. The whole world is blowing up, and the biggest threat we have is World War III, and we have incompetent people, and she's more incompetent than Biden. I was in Georgia the other day, and after the floods, and they were having tremendous problems, in particular in North Carolina. It's really, really bad. Many people are missing, and our federal government is doing so badly. If I was president, the longshoremen strike affecting the entire East Coast and indeed the entire nation would never have happened in the first place.
All right, Dana, it feels like we're entering, or we're in the midst of chaotic times. We have these three issues. How will that focus the voter?
Well, I think that, so like if you're on the fence of whether to vote, chaos can certainly lead you to just make a decision and to get out there. And early voting is starting soon. And everything we're seeing right now is chaos. So if chaos is a motivator, you look at whatever your issue is. You could say inflation chaos, border chaos, Middle East chaos, supply chain chaos, and weak leadership chaos, because that's what you ended up having in the entire Southeast region. Now, that was a huge storm. There's a lot that Mother Nature can do that humans can't do, but you can respond. And the response has been late. There's just no doubt about that. And I think what's most damning for Waltz was that in his debate performance, a lot of Democrats thought, oh, he will show that there's competence coming. And the Democrats who were saying, actually, no one ever cared about a vice presidential debate. That was their words, not even people from the Trump side. And there might be some people who are Kamala curious, like, oh, maybe I would consider voting for her. But consistently, we see independent voters saying, we just don't know enough about her. So she's an unknown entity. And what people want in times of chaos is seriousness. They want steadiness. They want substance. And because she is not giving them that, it's 75 days or 74 days without even really taking a significant number of media questions, the crescendo of all these chaos and crises happening all at once means, I think that's probably working in Trump's favor at this moment.
Judge, Dana brings up a good point. We're looking at Harris, but we kind of forgot that we still have a president out there somewhere. I mean, I'm pretty sure we have a president, but it feels like the Democrats kind of left the country in a lurch. And should we trust them when they try to convince us that Harris is capable?
Well, you know, I think that one of the most stunning things to me is if you're in a presidential race and it's like 50-50, it is so close. This is a political opportunity for you to go out there and show the American public that you are on the ground. You're getting help for those people in the areas where there was a flooding, and that, you know, you're taking the part of, you know, the United States and supporting Israel because we're on the verge of a larger regional war, if not a third world war. But they're not doing that. And that the clip that you showed right in the beginning when they asked her, you know, is it the did Biden to Kamala not give you the opportunity to go out there and be yourself? Because people are saying you had 4 years to do it, and you didn't do it. She couldn't even answer the question. All she did was talk about Donald Trump, and I'm surprised she didn't talk about how nice her grass was. But in the end, this is all an opportunity. And the Democrats are not taking advantage of it. So when Joe Biden says, you know, we pre-planned for this, we've got everything ready. It's been a week. The National Guard is not on the ground. People don't have water. They don't have water. They don't have food. They don't have a bathroom. Some of them are not warm enough. They don't have medicine. You have an animal. You don't have dog food. I mean, I was through it. This is a nightmare. And you think you're in America. They're coming for you. They're going to take care of you. But in the end, Biden didn't. And we'll talk later about how he really didn't.
Jessica, you know, I feel bad for you.
Do you?
Yes, I do. It's
That's
not
new.
fair that you have to support Kamala Harris. I know probably it wasn't your first choice, wasn't your second choice, probably wasn't your third, fourth, or fifth. But you had no choice with her. So you have to support her. And you can hate Trump all you want, but there was a primary. People had a choice. He became the choice. But you are stuck now trying to pretend that this person you wouldn't hire, you know, to, I don't know, babysit your kids.
Oh, I would take Kamala in a flash. The only people who are upset about the quote coronation are Republicans. These Democrats do not exist. We're happy. We're running a race that is now competitive when we thought we were going to lose. That's what we wanted out of all of this.
Answer the question.
I just did. Kamala, yes. Also
that
happy.
was a trick. There was no question.
Oh. Anywho, okay, so where's Joe Biden? Where's Kamala Harris? Yesterday she was in Georgia. Today he was in Florida and Georgia. I ran through the litany of on-the-ground facts from this response 2 days ago. But just to add to it, now Governor McMaster has said the response has been superb. Brian Kemp has said again, we have everything that we need. Florida is happy with the response. North Carolina is happy with the response. That does not mean that it is not a complete disaster. But it does mean that the Biden administration absolutely took this seriously. You say no National Guardsmen. There are over 4,000 that are on the ground, and we've had search and rescue from 19 states. As far as the media approach or what she's doing and who she's taking questions from, and you're upset at a circuitous answer, again, the voters are not upset about it. We would not be in this kind of deadlock of a race if people were annoyed about it. She's up 2.2 in the Real Clear Politics average, up 3 in 538. Nate Silver has her as the slight favorite in his probability model. And Cook Political Report yesterday put out swing state polls. She's up in 6 of 7 of them. But this was the astounding thing. For the first time ever, a plurality of swing state voters now think a Democrat will win. And that's an 11-point swing in her favor. She has the temperament to do the job. She's up 9 on uniting the country. What is so bad?
Well, I think we are all suspicious of that, given the fact that the media protects her pretty well. She hasn't really faced anything tough, nothing like the Republicans ever face. Right, Jesse?
You're right, Greg.
Thank you.
You've never been not right. I want to talk about the question that the hefty man asked her.
Yeah.
That is the core question of this election. You've been there for 4 years. Why haven't you done all the things you're campaigning on? For the last 4 years, wages have gone nowhere and prices have gone up. Yet, take-home wages, yet she says Bidenomics is working. Now, she has to know Bidenomics isn't working because she gets briefed by her economic team. She has to know because she reads the newspapers. We assume. So she knows Bidenomics isn't working, yet she goes and tells the voters it's working. So she's lying about how the plan's working. And if it wasn't a good idea, right, why did she cast the deciding vote for all of Joe Biden's plans? If she didn't like the plans, why did she say, oh, yeah, let's go for it? And, you know, all her little tax gimmicks she has out right now, well, why hasn't she convinced Joe Biden to adopt them? Why hasn't she gotten Chuck Schumer to put them on the floor for a vote? Those are easy questions. She still hasn't even been asked those questions. And you look at J.D. Vance last night, he had the other best line, I thought. Donald Trump doesn't just have a plan. He has a record. And when you look at his record, there was no inflation and massive wage increases. And then if you look into the future, it's simple: tax, trade, immigration policy. It's common sense. Her opportunity economy, it's not common sense. For instance, Jessica, she wants a $50,000 tax write-off for a small business startup. Well, small businesses don't have any profits if they're just starting up. So they don't have anything to write off. Or the $25,000 welfare check to buy your starter home. That's so inflationary and just going to screw up the cost of housing in this country. And then the child tax credit, $6,000. That doesn't actually bring prices down at all. It's just more spending. So the whole thing makes no sense, Jessica. Greg is right. You were wrong. Let's go to commercial.
The child tax credit cut child poverty in this country by 50%. And the small business loan is one of the only proposals that has bipartisan support. You should watch the tape of Stuart Varney talking about how it was really good policy.
Okay, then do it now, Jessica.
Now we hate Stuart Varney?
Do it now.
Roll the tape.
Why don't they do it now if it's all so great?
At what vice president set the agenda for the administration?
Cheney!
That's a great example. Also a Kamala fan.
Here we go. Coming up, Donald Trump hits back at Jack Smith's obvious election meddling.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.